Now, the next person that we have, these 5 men, number 4 or 5, is Paul, the peculiar prisoner. As we know, Paul spent most of his ministry in jail. And I love Apostle Paul because he was converted. His name was originally Saul, and he was one who adamantly, vehemently persecuted the Christians. He did not believe that the people who worshiped Jesus, he thought that they were blaspheming against God because he did not understand. And God touched him and spoke to him and changed his mind on the way to Damascus, and he became one of the greatest missionaries of all kind. And when we speak of a peculiar prisoner, because Paul was not fazed by his imprisonment, he used it as an opportunity to write letters. He preached out these churches, and then he went back, and while he was in prison, he wrote these letters to remain in communication with them and to continue to preach to them and encourage them, even though he was in bondage. And when we speak of the lessons that we can take about Paul, we can take lessons of persecution and how to deal with it. You know, sometimes, like this is why, again, I love Saul, because before he was converted, he was tough. But after he was converted, he got even tougher. Sometimes we see people, you know, when we're out in the streets, but we're doing our thing, we're tough, we're big, bad, and bold. But then when it comes to being Christians, we become weak and timid, you know, and I'm thinking, what is that? You know, when I was younger, the older saints used to say, God can't use no coward soldier. So when we speak of that, we have to understand that persecution is part of it and to anticipate it. I've seen people say, you know, take on this woe is me attitude. Why is this happening to me? I don't deserve this. We should be anticipating the persecution and be ready for it. Embrace it and understand that it's part of the walk, and more importantly, to overcome it. When we overcome it, then we are able to do the work of the Lord and do everything that we need to do in our lives. And that's how it has to be. So when you speak of persecution, you can't allow it to stop you. And to get to that manifestation, Paul has the ultimate testimony when it comes time for him to be beheaded. He said, I've fought a good fight. I've kept the faith. I've finished my course. I've done everything that I was assigned to do. And it says, so now I am ready to be offered up. And that's what it is. Persecution is a glorified distraction. It comes to distract you from doing what it is that you were assigned to do. So in as much as we know that, we can take the lessons about persecution from the Apostle Paul and learn how to overcome it so that we can accomplish our goals. Manifestation of overcoming persecution is critical. When you consider all of the churches, now consider this, on his missionary journey, he preached out churches, then he turned around and wrote letters to minister to those churches. And now we're reading these epistles, the letters that he wrote to these churches to encourage us and help us along our Christian walk. So Paul has impacted millions and millions of people by the way that he overcame persecution. So don't allow persecution to stop you. When people say things against you, people do things against you, don't allow that to stop you. As a matter of fact, let it make you more determined than ever before to press on and go on and do whatever it is that you were called to do.